folks everywhere. You ready, Bill? Yes, sir. All right. Man, huge crowd this morning.
Well, it's gonna be
And the one that's here doesn't count.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Oh, here comes Mr. Evans.
We got Mr. Evans.
Well, I'll wait to call the meeting order until Mr. Evans gets in here.
Yeah, he doesn't want to feel left out.
We can start now.
Man, we got all these people waiting on you.
Yeah. Oh.
There's something funny about my water.
Too bad we can't just do a consent agenda and just say, let's just approve them all and go home.
Done.
All right, well, let's call the meeting to order, 10:01 a.m., Tuesday, April 13th. First order of business will be roll call.
Here. Here.
Here.
Here.
Here. All right. Okay. I think we can just skip all the other stuff this
All
morning.
the public comments?
Yeah. Hopefully David's got it down by now. Let's just, let's go to item 3A, hold discussion and take action on our March 23rd minutes.
I move to approve the minutes.
Okay, got a motion?
I'll second.
Susan, second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, let's go to public hearings, item 4A.
Good morning, everyone.
Just a second, Bill.
Yes, sir.
So we've got 4 items under public hearings. I don't have anybody here to testify on a public hearing. Do they not know how risky that is?
I can't speak to that, but I know they've all been informed of our date and our meeting today.
Okay, here we go.
Yes, sir. Thank you. This is item 4A. Receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and make a recommendation on a request for approval of the initial zoning of the subject property located at 7164 North FM 1417 to agricultural zoning district. It's case number 2021-013Z. Here's an aerial of the subject property here. The applicant is requesting to be annexed into the city limits. While this body doesn't review or act or make recommendations on annexation requests, this body will have to make a recommendation on the zoning. In our annexation application form that we received from the applicant, they did not request an alternative zoning to the standard default agricultural zoning. So given that they didn't request one, our recommendation is the standard ag zoning here. As you can see, across the street is Caterpillar. Just north is another kind of light industrial business park that was created while it was inside the outside city limits in the county. And there is a metal warehouse existing on this site. So pending approval of this agricultural zoning, I anticipate them coming back sometime in the near future, maybe next year, I'm not sure when exactly, and possibly requesting a light industrial zoning, which would also be appropriate for the area. So as a recap, I'm sorry, I forgot to mention that the applicant is requesting annexation due to needing city utilities such as city water. They've worked with the Public Works Department to extend a water line north down FM 1417. So the need for annexation was brought on by the request for city services. They're requesting to be zoned agricultural. The property has been previously developed with existing metal structures, and city staff recommends approval of their request. And this is a public hearing, and I'm present for any questions that you may have.
Did we do one right next to that here recently?
Yes, sir. We actually annexed and zoned the property to the south, just north of Orchard Road, and then the property to the north, except they requested light industrial.
I got a minor question. I just noticed that on Part B, it does say existing land use is commercial. Does that matter? Probably not.
On the application or in the staff report, ma'am?
On it's in the annexation property evaluation and anticipated development information. It says existing land use commercial.
Yeah, the applicant filled that in. I'm not sure why they didn't request for, like I said, like a light industrial zoning type. I think that would be appropriate for the
So if
area.
they don't specifically request, then it's agricultural, is that right?
That's my understanding, yes.
Any other questions of staff? Okay, thank you, Bill. Well, I don't see anybody, so I'll just close the public hearing and we'll just entertain a motion on this.
I move to recommend approval of initially zoning the subject property to agricultural zoning district.
Second.
Second, who seconded it? Brett? Brett did, okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None, motion carries. Let's go to item 4B.
This is item 4B. Receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and make a recommendation on a request for approval of the initial zoning of the subject property located at 7132 North FM 1417 to agricultural zoning district. Case number 2021-014Z. And this is the property directly to the south of our last case. Almost identical situation in which you have a metal structure on the property, or two metal structures on the property. The rear is predominantly undeveloped. When they requested annexation, it was for the need for city utilities, and they requested ag zoning. So city staff recommends approval of the requested zoning. This is a public hearing, and I'm present for any questions that you may have.
Questions on this one, guys?
Just a curiosity question, it looks like we've got two different property owners with the same developer.
So while they are separate property owners, they have the same developer, and they signed over a document giving the developer permission to help them through the annexation process. So that's why you see similar signatures, or the same ones.
Any other questions? Thank you, sir. David, are you here to speak on a particular case? No?
Just here to watch.
Seriously, you don't have anything
Seriously,
else
I
to
have
do?
nothing on the agenda.
He's here to learn.
But stay tuned, I have a lot coming.
Okay, all right, cool. Good deal.
A
All right,
lot.
then. I'll close the public hearing, entertain a motion.
I move to recommend approval of initially zoning the subject property to agricultural zoning district.
Second.
Have a motion with a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None? Okay. Motion carries. Item 4C.
This is item 4C. Receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and make a recommendation on a request to change the zoning of the subject property from commercial to single-family 5 zoning district located at 409 North Houston Avenue, case number 2021-017Z. So here's the subject property outlined in yellow. You have West Morton running east to west. To the south, you have West Sears running east to west, and North Houston running north to south. And here's the zoning of the subject property. I tried to put the arrow and outline it a little bit more boldly because it's a little difficult to see. I wanted to zoom out a little bit and show this is in that pocket of town that's mostly zoned commercial. However, it's developed vastly in a residential manner. And so local developers wanting to pick up this property and build a new residence here. So the proposed zoning district does comply with our comprehensive plan, and city staff recommends approval. I'm present for any questions that you may have.
Is there any structure on that property at this time?
No, ma'am. It's currently vacant.
It didn't look like there is.
Okay, I want to ask that same question I asked you earlier.
Mhm.
I got a phone call on this one that prospective developer wants to build a duplex on this property. duplex is allowed to, we can build a duplex in the single-family 5 district, infill district, correct?
Yes, sir, that is correct.
Okay.
When our staff, Ms. Felicia Winfrey, was working with the applicant on getting this submitted, she got clarification that he was requesting SF5 zoning. However, I will outline in our ordinance, let me find it real quick. Excuse me. Section 28.48A.5, special requirements. This is our residential infill overlay, which this is in. Structures containing up to 4 residential units may be allowed within the residential infill overlay district, where the base zoning is any residential zoning district. A conditional use permit shall be required for all structures containing 3 or 4 residential units. All residential developments must follow the requirements, and it lists some other sections, which means you can build up to a duplex in any residential zoning district in our infill, but you still have to meet your parking requirements, you still have to meet your setbacks, your height, all.
That's the next question. Are the setbacks for a duplex the same as they are for a single-family structure in the infill?
So in our
5 feet?
Yes, sir. So in our infill ordinance, in that same section, this would be 28.48A.4, area regulations. It states that the minimum side yard is going to be 5 feet, and the minimum rear yard is 10 feet.
Okay. And we can do 20 on the front, right?
That's correct, sir.
Okay. And the parking requirements is one space, there's a maximum of 2, I think, isn't there a minimum of 2? Minimum of 2.
According to our ordinance, 2, 3, and 4 unit structures, a minimum of 1 parking space per unit per bedroom, not to exceed 2 spaces per dwelling unit on a paved surface.
So we need 4 spaces.
You would need 4.
Okay, all right.
Each unit would also need to be 650 square feet.
Right, okay. All right, very good. Any other questions?
Do you happen to, I'm sure it's in here somewhere, know what the, how many feet that property is?
5,000, it's 50 by 100. There's a survey.
55, there it is, okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Okay. I'll close the public hearing, entertain a motion.
I move to recommend approval changing the zoning of the subject property from the commercial zoning district to the single-family 5 zoning district.
I'll second.
Have a motion, Susan, on a second. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Motion carries. Item 4D.
Thank you. This is item 4D, receive report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and make a recommendation on a request for approval of the initial zoning of Loy Lake Park, generally located west of US 75 and north of Loy Lake Road, to agricultural zoning district. Case number 2021-034Z. Here's the subject property here. If you recall, late last year, the city of Denison has taken ownership over this park, and so now we're going through the formal process of annexing the park into city limits, which would mean we need to zone it. In this case, we think agriculture zoning is appropriate here since we don't have any intentions of developing it or selling it or anything like that, so it would remain as a park. Present for any questions that you may have, and city staff recommends approval of the initial zoning.
Just one quick question. Am I the only one asking questions? That land that is along 75 and in that little angled area, do we know who owns that? Is that county property, city property? The part that's between the Loy Lake that we're looking at going east? Not the easement along 75, but that triangular piece. I don't see a number on it. I'm just thinking it would be in interesting if that was also city property.
Do you mean this right here, this stretch right along?
Not the
75?
strip, but the part north, this area here.
Oh, I got you, okay.
Are you saying the part between my yellow line and the highway?
No, she's talking about the part up there at the top.
There's your, arm up here, what's it called? And then the rectangle to
The part,
the
yeah, the
north?
part that's right of the fairground, the stockyards, that big triangular.
Yeah, that's Josh's
Josh
house.
House.
Yeah, the whole, Josh owned there.
That's where his house is, isn't it?
Well, that's,
This-
yeah, they own
this
that, all that
right-
land.
He bought all that land
Okay.
from the county,
Yeah.
didn't he?
Part of it from the county and part of it just accumulated.
Yeah.
Yeah, he owns most of all that, all the way over.
Yeah,
Josh.
that's Josh's.
Likely one of his subsidiaries.
Yeah.
All that along
Just
Polaris.
curious. So-
And if you want
so-
Josh to explain what we're gonna do with that, we'll have to get him in on another meeting, because it'll take a while.
Yes, so on the survey. Yeah, it says Podolsky Properties LLC, and I believe that would be him.
That's, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's one.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? All right, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, entertain a motion.
I move to approve, to recommend approval of the initially zoning of the subject property to agricultural zoning district.
Second.
Okay, motion second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right.
That one
None
was
other, that's
exciting.
it. Anything, we got any updates or anything?
Mr. Chairman, I don't have any updates.
We put in the packet the council results from the last meeting. They did on Jake's Place. Remember the owner asked for a year for the installation landscaping. He noted in the meeting he could probably put it in there sooner, so they gave him 6 months to have the landscaping installed.
Okay, good. Good.
Otherwise, it was approved per y'all's recommendation. Besides that, Mr. Chairman, like I said, we have a lot, as our esteemed guest knows, we have a lot out there that is coming our way. We have a full docket of pre-application meetings every Tuesday afternoon, which kind of gives us an idea of who's out there. There's, some tire kickers and there's some that are very serious about coming in Denison.
Well, we were just talking about this last weekend, how, matter of fact, Sunday, as we came through Anna, coming back to Denison from Dallas. And, it's gonna be here before long, folks. It's not too far behind it, so it's gonna get busy around here too, so. And I get some good things. No, it ain't near as busy as it's gonna get.
I was gonna say, can you get busier, Charlie?
It's gonna get worse.
How
It's gonna
busy-
get worse.
How busy can you be?
I don't know, we'll all have to go across the river now, that's the only place left to go. Those of us that moved here to escape the Metroplex, now we're in trouble. So. All right, seeing no other business, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
I have a motion, second, Mr. Evans, all in favor, aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned at 10:19 a.m.